local distillery is helping raise funds for breast cancer research. Plus, Halloween came early for the Elver Park neighborhood. How Madison police joined in on the fun during today's trunk or treat. That's all coming up right now at 10:30. Good evening, everyone. Happy Sunday, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm McKenna Alexander. In developing news this evening, one man is dead following a cross-county chase last night. According to the Wisconsin Department of Justice, the pursuit began Saturday night following an incident in Dubuque, Iowa, which started a chase in Grant County. A Lafayette County Sheriff's deputy joined the chase by laying spike strips to try and stop the suspect. However, that suspect allegedly drove straight toward the deputy, during which the deputy fired their gun. Now, officials are not sure if the suspect was hit by a bullet or not, but that suspect did continue driving before they later crashed in Greene County. They then got out of the car and ran away. Later, officers found the suspect by State Highway 11 near Browntown, suffering from a gunshot wound. Officials tried to revive the man, but he was pronounced dead on the scene. Meanwhile, the Division of Criminal Investigation is investigating this incident. Authorities have located a Michigan family of 4 that had been reported missing. Fremont police announced on Facebook today that the Sergliano family was found safe and sound here in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. A family member said Anthony and Suzette Sergliano had their 2 autistic sons, Brandon and Noah, had unexpectedly left their home last week. That was after Anthony Sergliano made a 911 call, during which he said, quote, "People want to erase me from the face of the earth." Fremont police are not providing further detail about locating that missing family. Let's take a break now and get a look at your certified most accurate forecast with meteorologist Julian Seawright. Julian, pretty windy out there tonight.
It's windy, and now the rain has arrived, McKenna. We're going to be looking at these showers to be continuing on and off throughout much of southern Wisconsin. And some areas are actually starting to get a bit of that heavier rainfall and some storms as we continue throughout the rest of tonight. So here's a look at our radars of right now. We can see that band of showers, which is hitting the western parts of Dane County, which is really weird located. So that's why we're starting to see some showers out here on our weather patio. But friends to the north, just north of the Dells, they had a couple of thunderstorms earlier this evening, and we're going to be looking at multiple rounds of that throughout the overnight as well. But right now, temperatures are still into the low 70s for us, and we're going to see those upper 60s throughout the overnights, but showers and potentially some isolated thunderstorms are going to be expected for us carrying into our Monday. And we got to talk more about those rain and storm chances because we're going to be looking to make an impact by the time we're waking up in the morning and potentially for our Monday nights. We'll be timing out when these impacts will be affecting you coming up in just a few moments. Until then, back to you, McKenna.
All right, thanks, Julian. Wisconsinites love nothing more than beer and helping their neighbors. Today, State Line Distillery combined the two for Burr Oktoberfest. Our Andrew Vanstra has the story.
It's no secret, Wisconsinites love Oktoberfest, but it's also Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Now, when you combine those two, that's where the magic starts.
This is the second year in a row we partnered with Burr Oak to throw the Burr Oktoberfest, and it's a fundraiser for Breast Cancer Recovery, Inc. out in Fitchburg, a wonderful local charity.
Drinking beer, playing games, and holding meat raffles during commercial breaks of the Packers game. Because Wisconsin.
We're hoping to raise somewhere north of $1,000 for Breast Cancer Recovery, Inc. today.
State Line Distillery only sources local products. They're trying to build up their community by bringing people together.
We wanted to work with a charity, but we wanted to make sure it was something that was, first of all, very local, hyper-local, so people of Dane County are benefiting from it.
State Line partnered with Breast Cancer Recovery, Inc. because of their multi-layered approach to recovery. They don't just focus on the physical side, but the mental side, too.
And what Breast Cancer Recovery, Inc. does is offer those group therapy sessions, those wellness clinics, all sorts of support so that people who are going through the physical side are also getting uplifted on the mental and emotional side.
This local business shows what Madison is all about, loving your neighbors and working with those neighbors to be the change, to make a change.
Everything we do starts with community. So we're working with local farmers directly sourcing our grains. We're selling only within the state lines of Wisconsin to local customers. As a person who's born and raised in Wisconsin working for a hyper-local company, there's few things that matter more than supporting the people that are your neighbors.
In Madison, Andrew Vanstra, News 3 Now.
Well, Halloween festivities were in full swing at Elver Park Neighborhood Center today with a fun twist on trick-or-treating. Local kids had the opportunity to break out their costumes a little early to trunk-or-treat in the center's parking lot. People who live and work in the community decorated the trunks of their cars to give out candy to get families in the Halloween spirit. The event also featured a special station from the Madison Police Department where kids had the chance to investigate a crime and in turn learn more about the department's canines.
I love the turnout. I love to see all the people from the community come in and hanging out, and weather is fantastic, which helps. So I'm glad it's been a great event.
This year was the center's first time hosting the event, and after a successful turnout, the community engagement director says they hope to do it again in the future. Well, after a promising start to the season, Green Bay is starting to slide. Jordan Reed joins us now as the Packers' losing streak hits 3 games. Jordan?
Yeah, the Packers are hitting a wall just 7 weeks into the season. They dropped their 3rd straight game, and it's the first time that that's happened since 2018. And after today's game with the Commanders, the question being asked is, what's going on with Green Bay? Well, after their loss to the Jets, Aaron Rodgers made the point that it's about simplifying things, and that message is directed at the players. Well, jumping to this week, things did not get fixed, and that goes for both offense and defense. Yes, Aaron Jones is able to get the Pack an early lead. Then Devondre Campbell picks off Taylor Heineke and returns it for his first career pick 6. But after that, the wheels just fall off. The Commanders score 20 unanswered points, and they go on to beat Green Bay 23-21.
If we knew what the answer was right now, we wouldn't be standing here. So, yeah, no, it's whatever it is right now, what we're putting out there, what I'm calling, it ain't good enough. So, yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow, and we got to be better.
And this weekend marks the first of 3 straight road games. But before we get to that, we're going to take another look at the game that's coming up in sports.
All right, thanks, Jordan. And at national news tonight, the Biden administration is continuing to encourage people eligible for student loan debt relief to keep applying online. That's despite a court-ordered temporary hold. Camilla Bernal reports.
It may take a little longer, but Cody Hunanian is still expecting 1/3 of his student loan to be forgiven.
It's a light at the end of the tunnel.
He's referring to President Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness program that would cover $10,000 of his student debt. Because while he's been out of college for 9 years, he still owes $30,000.
I'm recently married. Me and my wife are going to be thinking about purchasing a home. So it's all of a sudden kind of right in front of me again because I'm thinking about the kind of debt I have and I need to finance my future and get a home.
But while the administration was expected to start granting loan discharges as early as Sunday, a federal appeals court put a temporary administrative hold on the program, a move being argued in and out of the courtroom. USC economics professor Robert Deacle says that while all his students support the program, he asked them to consider different perspectives.
Relative to defense spending and the overall government budget, the annual cost is not huge. But it's going to be a burden on current taxpayers.
He also says if the goal is to help low-income families, the government should instead invest in, say, early childhood education. As an economist, Deacle says he thinks short-term loan forgiveness will only make inflation worse. But as a professor, he believes long-term this will make the U.S. more competitive.
We need people with skills, and the way to get it is in higher education.
And it's that education that Hunanian says got him to where he is today. Now the executive director of the Student Debt Crisis Center, a nonprofit focused on ending the student debt crisis.
For me, the only way to open the door was to take on student loan debt, even though it's created really unnecessary challenges and, we've had to be stressed and all of that. But my future is brighter nonetheless.
Now, he's not only waiting for his loan forgiveness, but also fighting so that others can also get the relief.
My dream, my vision for a better America in the future is one where my kids don't even have to consider student loan debt.
Education Secretary Miguel Cardona says 22 million people have already provided the necessary information needed to review eligibility for student debt relief. Still ahead, with the election date just over 2 weeks away, candidates across the country continuing to make their final big push on the campaign trail. Pete Buttigieg is among those helping push candidates ahead of Election Day. With his plans to visit the Badger State this week, we have details coming up next on News 3 Now.
It's A1 Furniture's anniversary sale with up to 43% off store-wide and 43 months free financing. Plus, get tax included on purchases over $9.99. Huge selection in stock now at A1 Furniture.
Madison's locally owned family furniture store.
Hy-Vee Red Hot deals are super hot this Monday through Thursday. Fresh ground chuck, only $2.49 a pound. Simply Done bath tissue or paper towels, only $2.99. And Jack's Pizza, only $1.88. Scan the code, get deals, only at Hy-Vee.
The house before you, over 30 years old, still has its original window. Boom.
There's no need to be afraid of old windows. Call Feldco for 50% off.
It's the biggest sale of the season. 50% off Feldco windows, plus no money down and no interest until 2024.
50% off windows ends soon. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road.
Heart-pounding design, intelligent technology, courageous performance. Discover a new world of possibilities with a bold new take on the Lexus RX. Never lose your edge.
Seven-day-old tuna casserole.
How'd you know that?
Even my nose is strong. You need Hefty Ultra Strong. It has Arm & Hammer, continuous odor control. Hefty, Hefty, Hefty. Oh, and Toby needs a bath. Stay one step ahead of Stinky.
When pain says, I'm here, I say, so are they. Aleve, who do you take it for?
Hy-Vee Red Hot deals are super hot this Monday through Thursday. Fritos or Cheetos, only $1.88. 6 packs of 7-Up products, only $1.48. And 5 pounds of Hy-Vee one-step potatoes, only 88 cents. Scan the code, get deals, only at Hy-Vee.
Don't miss A1 Furniture's anniversary sale. Save up to 43% off name brand mattresses and get 43 months free financing. Plus, get tax included on purchases over $9.99. Huge selection in stock now at A1 Furniture.
Madison's locally owned family furniture store.
They say a picture's worth 1,000 words, but this Halloween, Madison Magazine is sweetening the cauldron. Monday, learn what you could win for taking a spectacular photo.
Plus, more rain chances across southern Wisconsin. Join us Monday morning from 4:30 to 7.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
In developing news tonight, a man is dead in Oregon after being shot and killed by a sheriff's deputy this evening. The Dane County Sheriff's Office says that man was wanted for a weapons violation. Now, a lot is still unknown at this time, but we know that he was found by a deputy shortly after 3 this afternoon on Eagle Drive, just south of Jefferson Street. That deputy reportedly fired their weapon, killing the man, with multiple neighbors telling News 3 they heard between 3 and 4 gunshots this afternoon. To our campaign coverage now. With Election Day just over 2 weeks away, candidates across the country continue making their final big push on the campaign trail. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said on CBS's Face the Nation that she's very confident in Democrats' midterm chances. Now, that's despite recent CBS estimates showing Republicans taking control of the House. CBS News correspondent Christian Benavides reports from Miami.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi expressed optimism as the midterm races enter the home stretch.
We feel very confident.
Pelosi says Democrats shouldn't be blamed for stubbornly high inflation, hovering around 40-year highs.
If you look at what we have done to bring down the cost of prescription drugs, to bring down the cost of energy and the rest in our legislation, you will see that that has been opposed every step of the way by the Republicans.
CBS News estimates show the Republicans potentially taking control of the House with 224 seats. In Pennsylvania's contentious Senate race, Democratic candidate John Fetterman campaigned in Philadelphia Sunday ahead of this week's debate against Republican opponent Mehmet Oz.
He believes he can buy this seat.
In Georgia, Republican candidate Herschel Walker is battling on despite revelations about his past behavior.
It's our option come November. Right now, this early voting, we get an opportunity to change it.
Former President Trump has been a supporter of Walker and other GOP candidates as he looms large during the midterms. Last night at a rally in Texas, Trump indicated he's still considering another White House run in 2024.
In order to make our country successful, safe, and glorious again, I will probably have to do it again.
Last week, the House panel investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol subpoenaed the former president to testify. He has not yet said whether he will. Cristian Benavides, CBS News.
In many places, Election Day is already here, such as in Nevada, where there's a tight Senate race. Early voting began Saturday, with mail-in ballots distributed last week. Nationwide, some 7 million Americans have already cast ballots and, in turn, locked in their decisions. Former 2020 presidential candidate and current U.S. Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg will stop by Madison later this week. On Friday, he'll be campaigning with Mandela Barnes, the pair joined by Senator Tammy Baldwin and Congressman Mark Pocan, as they come together to encourage voters to get to the polls. Buttigieg is also expected to hold an event touting efforts from state Democrats on LGBTQ issues. Early voting starts this Tuesday for Wisconsin voters. Meanwhile, across the pond, the United Kingdom's Conservative Party is set to vote for a new leader just days after Prime Minister Liz Truss resigned, becoming the shortest-serving premier in the country's history. Anna Stewart has more details.
Well, the contest for Conservative Party leader heated up on Sunday with Rishi Sunak officially declaring his candidacy. Now, that comes as no surprise. The former Chancellor ran in the contest against Liz Truss, and he actually only narrowly lost. In a tweet, Sunak said he wants to fix the economy and unite the party, and he has the support of at least 100 Conservative MPs, according to the Press Association, and that is the threshold to enter the voting stage of the race. So now, the big question is whether his former boss, Boris Johnson, will also run. UK media outlets report that Sunak and Johnson actually met on Saturday evening, although no details have emerged of what was discussed. The deadline for candidates to declare is 2 p.m. on Monday. If Boris Johnson does decide to run, it would be an extraordinarily quick attempt at a political comeback. Johnson only stepped down as Prime Minister last month, and he still faces a parliamentary committee inquiry over whether he misled Parliament over the so-called Partygate scandal. Unlike Rishi Sunak or Penny Mordaunt, Boris Johnson won the last general election, and supporters stress that he therefore has a mandate from the public, not just the party. Of course, many question whether he could win another election post-Partygate scandal. Another way to ensure the next Prime Minister of the UK has a mandate would be holding a snap general election. But currently, that isn't on the cards. Anna Stewart, CNN, London.
Let's get a look now at your certified most accurate forecast. Meteorologist Julian Seawright.
And we're tracking the rain, McKenna, as we get throughout the rest of our Sunday night. We've been seeing plenty of bands of rainfall just really moving throughout much of Wisconsin. Not many areas are not going to be seeing rainfall throughout the course of tonight. Though it's not too intense, we have seen a couple of lightning strikes that were earlier into our evening, but many of those thunderstorms have moved north. But for us here in Madison, we're starting to get a bit of some intense rainfall, especially just west of Madison, near the western side. So this would be near the Verona area where we're looking at some of that heavier rainfall moving at a northeasterly track. So we are looking for that to really start to make impacts for us overnight. But outside of that, this is what we're looking at. On our surface map, it's the leading edge of the warm front where we're starting to see the storms and showers really starting to develop for us here in the upper Midwest. But behind it, we're still dealing with plenty of winds that are going to be impacting us by the time we get into tomorrow. And on top of it, it's going to be quite a wet day, but not throughout the entirety of the day. Once we get there, it's going to be 74 degrees for us. Not looking at too much of consistent rainfall. It's going to be on and off throughout our morning, but the return will come by the time we get into our afternoon and evening hours, and especially for our Monday nights. But let's go ahead and plan out what we're going to be expecting for the vast majority of tomorrow. 74 degrees is going to be our high for us here in Madison. Many of us will be into lower or mid 70s. A couple areas could be into the upper 60s, but overall, we're going to be seeing temperatures be on the mild side once again. 75 for Janesville and 71 into Platteville. As we go in throughout the rest of the overnight hours, we're going to be seeing the continued clusters of showers and storms really stick around until about 3 o'clock. Then it's going to start to phase out for us, not looking for too much in terms of rainfall. But around 7 o'clock in the morning, as you're heading out the door, we could see a couple of showers, potentially an isolated thunderstorm just south of Madison. But then by the late morning hour, we're going to start to see it really clear up for us. And that's going to be it for right then and now. But still, breezy conditions by the time you get to lunchtime, and temperatures are going to be rather mild, and it's going to be a cloudy day. We're not looking for the wet conditions to return until we get into around the 5 o'clock hour, and that's going to start for our friends to the west. Once we get into the later evening hours, around 8 o'clock, that's when we're going to start to see a bit more of that rain cluster up in a larger band and start to stretch its way across southern Wisconsin and all of the viewing area by the time we get into our 10 o'clock hour. Then once we get closer to midnight, we're still going to be seeing much of that rain stick around for us, but the back end of the band will start to clear out for the western side once we get into our Tuesday morning. But note, folks, once you're heading out the door for Tuesday morning, you're going to need your rain gear from areas of Madison, Dane County, and to the east, because we're going to be expecting some of that rain to really stick around for us. We're looking for healthy doses of rainfall throughout the next 48 hours of this rain event, which will be on and off again for tomorrow, but we're looking for it to carry from Monday night into our Tuesday morning. 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch of rainfall is going to be expected. Some areas could even see about an inch with the storms that roll through. But we're going to be entering an unsettled pattern. It's going to be mild for Monday, but the cool temperatures do return by the time we get into our Tuesday. It's going to be one of the good news because we're looking back at fall-like weather. After such a gorgeous weekend, well, temperatures are going to feel a bit more chilly as we get into the rest of the week, but it's not overly chilly. It's going to be rather seasonable, hanging into the mid-50s. Dry weather continues from Wednesday to Thursday, and heading into the weekend, well, McKenna, it's going to be pretty picture perfect. Plain sunshine, 50s are sticking around, and even for Halloween, not looking at too much to really interrupt our plans.
We always, this summer, we would do our 3 things to know with heat. We would say, like, hydrate,
stay cool, find a cool shelter.
Something like that, and like sunscreen,
Yeah.
right? And I was trying to think of 3 things we can say for trick-or-treat, like trick-or-treat, and I couldn't think of one for our forecast. Maybe we'll have to think about...
Yeah, we have to think about that one.
Temperate? No, that sounds like we're in a rainforest.
Very much so.
Clearly,
yeah.
I need to think of it. Maybe do it later in the show. We'll be able to think of our 3rd thing.
We could, maybe for the end.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Julian.
Sounds good.
Still ahead, another tough loss for the Packers. Jordan has the full breakdown coming up next in sports.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
With Pick and Save Fresh Perks, it's easy to get lower than low prices for the win. You also earn fuel points on every purchase to save big at the pump. Pick and Save Fresh Perks. All you do is win big savings. Pick and Save. Fresh for everyone.
When I heard from my doctor, it was my worst nightmare. My baby's diagnosis was dismal, a severe abnormality, and my husband and I decided to have an abortion so our daughter wouldn't suffer. Tim Michaels thinks that decision should have been his, not ours. He wants to criminalize abortion. And if he's elected, women will lose the freedom to decide what's best for them. Tim Michaels is just way too radical for Wisconsin.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. If you or a loved one were stationed at Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987 and were later diagnosed with cancer, Parkinson's disease, or other serious health effects, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Call right now to find out if you qualify.
Call 1-800-336-0524. 1-800-336-0524.
With Choice Hotels, there's always a reason to book it. Whatever your reason, save 20% when you stay 2 or more nights at participating locations. Book direct at choicehotels.com. Terms and conditions apply.
In a recent clinical study, patients using Salonpas patch reported reductions in pain severity, using less or a lot less oral pain medicines, and improved quality of life. That's why we recommend Salonpas. It's good medicine.
What's the matter, hon?
There's nothing to do.
You should check out Ho Chunk Game in Madison, home with a 95% average payout.
And with so many slot machines, there's a game for every kind of player.
They're right, honey. And with new promotions and reward club perks all the time, there are more ways to win than ever before. Find your fun and visit Ho Chunk Gaming Madison today.
Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
Now, what is happening?
Chevy Silverado. It's got the power you want and the capability you need to do the job so you can get to the important work. Find new moments, find new roads. Get a $500 cash allowance on all 2022 Silverado pickups with a 2.7-liter turbo engine when you purchase. Plus, current Chevy owners can get an additional $2,500 loyalty cash. And now during truck season, get a $1,000 accessory allowance toward a new Chevy truck with accessories.
With the Pick and Save app, no matter where you order free pickup, you get the same great deals as you'd get in our stores. So start your cart today.
Whenever, wherever.
Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
I don't think anybody thought we'd be in the spot that we're in right now. And we're going to find out what we're made of.
New week, new opponents, same results. The Packers lose their third straight, and in this afternoon's matchup with Washington, every phase of Green Bay's game got rocked. It starts with special teams, an area that the Packers thought they had cleaned up, but that wasn't the case today. Late first quarter, Amari Rodgers muffs a punt. While the Commanders take over, they only managed 3 points, but still they get on the scoreboard. Defense got off to a great start this afternoon behind Devondre Campbell's pick 6, but what could have been a scoop and score right here, just a few drives later, it ends up getting nullified because of illegal contact on Eric Stokes. So the Packers have to keep their 14-10 lead going into halftime. Then on offense, just inconsistency. Rodgers finishes with the fewest passing yards in a single game this season. They also go 0 for 6 on third down conversions. And here's what Rodgers has to say about their struggles this afternoon.
Execution of the details, small details. I mean, a lot of mental errors today. Now, we had some issues with guys getting hurt. Allen got banged up, and Sammy's was we're trying to keep Sammy to 20 to 25 plays, but yeah, we just made some silly execution mistakes.
Fresh off sweeping Michigan State, Badger volleyball hit the road this afternoon to face the Wolverines for the second time in a week. Last Sunday, Michigan gave UW some trouble, but Wisconsin got the win over another ranked opponent. So they head to Michigan with 7 straight wins, looking to extend it. The Wolverines take the first set. That would be it. Devin Robinson racks up 17 kills this afternoon as the 1-2 punch of Danielle Hart and Caroline Crawford at the net help Wisconsin win the next 3 sets. Badgers return home for a rematch of the 2021 National Championship game with Nebraska. That's set for Wednesday night at 8. Regular season finale for the Badger women's soccer team. They're hosting Nebraska this afternoon. The Cornhuskers jump out to an early lead, but Ashley Martinez comes in clutch with a header to tie it up. Then before halftime, Natalie Vigiano is going to play hero. She nets the go-ahead, and Arissa Merritt will close out this game with back-to-back goals as the Badgers win it 4-1. They finish the regular season 11-4-3. Next up is the Big Ten tournament. Final round of the Dominion Energy Charity Classic. Jerry Kelly held the lead at one point, but a double bogey and another on the back nine slide him back on the leaderboard. The Madison native finishes the round with a trio of birdies and tied for third at 12 under overall. And in Formula One racing, the 2022 United States Grand Prix taking place this afternoon at the Circuit of the Americas course in Austin. Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, they were neck and neck all race long. Well, Verstappen, he pulls out the win. It's his 13th of the season. That ties a record. And with that win, Red Bull claims its first Constructors' Cup title since the 2013 season.
All right, thanks, Jordan. Still ahead, a final check of your first one forecast coming up when we return.
Closed captioning sponsored by Community Shares of Wisconsin's Workplace Giving Campaign.
All right, so I was saying we should talk about our favorite Halloween costumes. Then you guys tell me you didn't really do it.
Not too much.
I did dress up, but I usually ended up having dance practice on Halloween.
See, Halloween, that took priority for me.
I mean, I had the plethora of Disney, costumes.
See, I don't think my mom ever, bought a costume. She always would go all out and make them. One year I was an iPod. One year I was a giant sushi roll. One year I was Canadian bacon. That was my request. It was a weird one.
Wow. Bacon's good.
My mom had the best Halloween costume.
Okay.
So.
Oh, wait, I will say I did go as Hermione Granger one year.
That is not surprising.
And I went as far as to get a perm.
And, you know... That is fantastic.
I'll have pictures.
Can we get side-by-side pictures of you with your
100%.
perm and Brady with his perm?
Yes.
That's going to look amazing.
On that note, Julia, how's it looking outside?
Quick look at our 10-day forecast. The good news is that Halloween's going to have great weather for us, but we have some showers and storms to get through until we get there.
All right, thanks for joining us. News 3 Now This Morning starts at 4:30.